United States trademark thing is you have to be really specific about it, be ready to do it. It takes a year. Seriously, it takes a year because it has to be researched, they have to print it, they have to make sure no one else has it. Another thing is you may make errors, but the trademark attorneys at the government office will work with you. You get a number to call them, they will tell you when to call. So you can do it yourself, but here's what it does. I met a woman who had a TV deal with VH1 for her brand, because it's all about your brand. As you write this PR plan, put in there that you know you are an expert. Well, then when the VH1 asked her, did she own her trademark, she said, no, I'm getting ready to do it. They said, how about this? How about if we just do it for you? And then in 5 years, you just have to buy it back from us with interest and with all this, whatever we have made from this when we put up front. So what I'm saying is, no matter where you are, if you're thinking about the big league is making money. Big league is, I'm not saying you want to have a house in, I don't know, next to Oprah or the Smiths or Gates or I don't know what it is. It's whatever you define. But what I'm saying is part of your plan, part of PR is that consistent experience. If you don't own your brand, somebody will not only own it, they will redefine it for you. So what is $700-something if you can do that? And, one second, if you haven't trademarked it yet, stop talking about it. Because the minute you keep on talking about it, somebody's going to go and eat it up for you. Be clear on that. Your friends are not really your friends. It's business, not personal.
Two things that I want to say. One is, if you have a brand, and let's say you do books, somebody else can buy Man Plumbing. So just because you own the name doesn't mean you have to narrow it down to the use. So you can find somebody else dirtying up your brand by using a different services. You just have to make sure the logo's not the same.
Well, you have to be specific. But when you fill out the application, it's all in there. What is the purpose? What is the intent? Is it retail? Is it workshops? Is it self-help? You put all that in there. And trust me, it does protect you.
Let me just add to the last thing that you said, because what you said is so real in business. I had got on the phone and asked somebody that I'm about to start this website. And I had come up with one name, and the person said, that's not a good name. You should try this. You should try this name.
Yeah.
The person told me the name. I almost fainted. I got on the internet and bought the name while I'm having a conversation with him. That name has made me at least $100,000. The person doesn't realize that he was the one that gave me the idea for that name. But literally, while I was on the phone with him, I had purchased the name.
This was your friend, or
this was a friend.
And then, say that?
And then within a half an hour, I went and trademarked it.
See?
And this was a friend.
Yeah. So what I'm telling you is, so you have to be clear. You know what I mean? Do not just because this person has my back. Honestly, we are in dire times, people. Everyone is seeking that golden egg. So you got to make certain that your idea is taken care of and protected. And the only way is you have got to invest. Invest. We do not invest in our business. We do not market our business. We do not do PR for our business. We write a marketing plan, or business plan, and we say, okay, we need that investment. We need angel investment. We need a bank. We need this. Who are the 10 people I need to engage on this level right now? For somebody, it may not be coffee. It just might be a congratulatory card. For someone, it might be a thank you card. I really like what you're doing. We're in a society where everybody's just taking. One of my tools and tips in my book is that in Christmas, you send summer cards. You send, cards of Valentine's Day, because your goal always is to stand out. So if I'm getting something from you and it's in a red envelope as opposed to a white manila envelope, I'm going to open your card. So I want you to just think about, how can I have shock value? How can I stand out? What can I do? Perhaps I need to send a video from Animoto that's free, pitching myself as opposed to writing a letter. Start thinking different things. And I'm going to go into that. Social media is part of your PR plan. How many of you are engaging in social media every day, all the time? Okay, disappointing. Everybody's hand should be up. This is the time now, this is the race where it is open for business 24/7 internationally. So if you're not engaging, you are losing business. I get so much business from social media. Here's what you have to do. First, you have to accept that it's here to stay. I hate to tell you. That's the first thing. The second thing is to understand understand what do you need to get out of it. If you just want to post where you are at getting ice cream or at the gym, it may not be for you to do as an entrepreneur. But if you want to be strategic and post like, this is what I do, in a way that you engage people, social media is basically how to engage someone as a press release would in 140 characters. That is all it is. When you read a press release, the headline is what engages you. Am I right?
Yeah.
When you read the news, the top story, that's a headline. That's a press release, a top story. The top 3 stories are headlines. After the top 3 stories, everything else is fluff if you watch. Sports, this, that's a sign to that they get you in, and then they're like, coming up next. That's how they get you. So your social media tactic, you've got to have a plan. So you have a PR plan. That is the nuts and bolts of what you do. The nuts and bolts, here's your plan, here's who I want to reach, here is the outlet that's going to take me to the next level, here's who I have to meet, here is what I need to do in 6 months to garner attention. I need to plan an event announcing what I'm doing. This is all in your plan. Because if you don't announce something, no one knows you're open for business. Okay? And it doesn't have to be anything grandiose. When I launched a Brand New Mommy, I had an opening, I had an event. Maybe I had like 40 people there, but that wasn't the whole thing. The thing was, you want to bring attention to what you're doing. You want to have it covered. You want to have photos and you can send it out and say, this is what I'm doing. So strategically, if I have 40 people, make it look like 100. That is what we do. This is we're in the art of making things happen. So you have an event, okay? It doesn't matter. It could be a small event. And don't forget to partner with people. I needed help on my event. I partnered with Angie Hancock from Experience Harlem. It's like, Angie, you are the Harlem go-to person. How can you help me find a location and this, and what can I do for you? This is all part of your plan. See, somewhere along the line we forgot about bartering. Somewhere along the line we forgot about exchanging. And we became it to be like, I need this, I'm gonna bleed you dry. Well, I can help Angie and she can help me. But I'm sure in this room there's a lot of reciprocity here that's going on. And we're losing out on business because once they love you, they keep on coming back. It's like, what do you have for me? What do you have for me? What do you have? So be that agent to feed them. That is in your plan, okay? The next thing is, what do you think in your plan, and this is between you and you writing, is holding you back? And just write that down. This is your thought. What do you think is holding you back today why you cannot get to the next level? You don't have to share it with me. Just write it down. Because there's something that's always holding us all back. Okay, and I'm not excluded from this, all of us. But there's something that holds us back, and until you identify that, you will always be stuck. For me, for a long time, it was always saying something greater was going to come along. But the greater, what I thought was greater, was really never greater. And then you saw what happened. So once you find your niche, you have to realize, like, okay, it's now. And then if you fail, you've done it. And really what is failure but how somebody else is viewing you, it's not how you view yourself. So just think about what is holding you back and just write that down. Does anybody want to share or do you want to keep on moving? Keep on moving. You can turn up your phone. The other thing about this plan, you have to write down 10 people. So if you start today, September 26th, I believe, 10 people you need to call between now and December 31st. 10 people. And make yourself accountable. And don't be having no everyday people on it. But seriously, aim really high. 10 people that you want to make a call or connection to. And if you don't know them, you know with the circle, there's somebody 3 degrees that knows that person. But if you don't start saying, this is who I want, this is where I want. I never forgot, I read a story about Jim Carrey. And he was saying that when he was homeless and broke, he wrote a check to himself that year for $1 million. And he kept that check in his wallet. And so no matter what, he knew that every time he went to pay something, he would see that check, that this is what he was working towards. And when he got that $1 million check, that first check, he ripped it up and wrote another number. How many of us think that way? Right? Great. Well, all of us should think that way. So I want you to think about, in this plan, 10 people I need to connect with between now and the 31st of the year. Because this is where it's all going to start shape-shifting your thought. The next thing is, who do I need to get rid of right now? Because or you're not hot, people don't really care to engage you. But then when they start smelling you're coming back, everybody comes back. Well, now is the time that if you're in transition or reinventing, your plan needs to incorporate 10 people I need to just cut out of my life. Because if they haven't brought you any kind of like, camaraderie, any kind of service, connection, friendship, therapy, they need to go. They need to go. Because as entrepreneurs, we need therapy, be clear. Those 10, and that's so important because a lot of times as you ascend, you're keeping the same deadbeats feeding off of you. I have young kids, that's my too. But seriously, cut these people off. The next thing is, what are you doing right now? Are you leaving your house at least 3 times a week? A lot of times when you work for yourself, and I've been guilty, you don't want to leave your house because you get comfortable. So make sure that you have a pitch letter ready. A pitch letter is basically who, what, where, when, why about your story, what makes it so interesting, and then you always have tips to overcome. Because in this great country called America, we all want to overcome. So make sure you have solutions to your problems. You have a problem, I'm here to provide your solution because you're the expert. See yourself as an expert. I want to open it up for questions from you. I hope you have questions, please. Any questions? Or you want me to elaborate with me? I can also.
Good morning. My name is Marilyn Watson of Many Homes, and I'm creating body products. I have a question as far as the media. Did you just call the newspaper and say, do a story on me, or?
How do you get the media name, you're saying? Okay, so, you're not going to call and just say do it, right? Okay, I should have said that. Sorry. But you have to research. Research is king. Nowadays, you open a newspaper or a magazine, you're going to see the email address, you're going to see the website, you're going to see the magazine, you're going to see the masthead, who they are. But research first. What do they write about? What is their beat? Nothing worse than sending something about your business, body products, to the real estate editor. So you want to find out what it is that they do. And before you send it to them, watch them for a couple of days, a month or so, and see what their beat is. And see who else is writing. Maybe it's a contributing person. So that's the first thing, is Google is everything. Yeah, these search engines are great. You can, when I was growing up in a PR, it was Bacon's. That was like the Bible. That's something that doesn't exist anymore. It's Vocus or something else like that, other software. But you can still do the old-fashioned thing and just like read and see who is doing, who's covering it. And you can always call. Strategically, you call in the mornings before 9 a.m. because that's when people's day has not started yet, and then you call after 4. So, put in context. If you're looking for coverage for a weekly paper, keep in mind their deadline is every day, it's weekly. So Wednesday they go to press, or Tuesday, and 5 p.m. they're crazy. So make no calls around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, because you're going to get hung up on. Weekly papers, okay? Know their deadlines. The second thing is, if it's a monthly paper, a monthly magazine, they work 3 months ahead of time. So if you're trying to get into whatever publication, keep in mind they're working on January 2012 right now. So don't think that, so plan ahead. If you're looking to get into regional, sometimes it's a 2-week deadline, so it's bi-weekly. Great time to call normally for them is probably like between 11 and 2. When you call a reporter, a writer, or you email, always ask, is it a good time? That shows respect. Is it a good time? If it's not, when is a good time? You're looking to call a TV producer on the local news starts at 5. So do not call them at 5, okay? Now don't call the producer at 5. Call them in the morning at 9 a.m., 8:45, and so forth. Call the desk. It's called the desk. How do I get those numbers? Well, you can Google it, you can call, you can watch the news and it tells you. Those things are there for you. Just gotta do some research. What else? Another great tip for you is don't sleep on like bloggers and social media agents. A lot of times they're working for the big dogs. They're being contracted to write stories. So look to see who's covering what and send your stuff to them or call them. It's all about relationships. So I can tell you that a deadline is January 2012 for a monthly, but if I have a relationship with someone and I know they're working on the November issue, then you can get in. Relationships are king, but how do people get to have relationships? You leave your house, you engage, you talk to people, and let them know what your plans are. Is it culture? Is it young men, young women, juvenile? You know, you have to know what the market is. How do you find that out? Read the paper. Read the paper. The paper tells you what there's in need of. The first 10 pages tells you what the big stories are. Crime, but it's more than that now. It's crime. It's the economy. It's health and wellness, because we're going through this period. A lot of people are dying or are sick. Preventive medicine is huge. Okay? Eating. All those things are big markets. Taking care of your body. You know, how can a bootstrap business? Those are huge topics. So you got to fit your niche in there. So read the paper, watch the news, and find out what are they saying. How can I fit my business in there? That is how you make it happen for less. With a brand new mommy, and I talk about that because that is what I do now. But you know, we did NBC Today, New York, and also Philly, because we talked about how women could reinvent themselves post-pregnancy or while on bed rest. Do you know that the staggering number is that 3 out of 4 black women will be on bed rest, 1 out of 4 Caucasian women will be on bed rest. That's a lot of women over 35. That's a huge market. So I write about that.
What's bed rest?
When you're confined to the bed during your pregnancy.
Oh.
So you may have limited mobility, you go to the bathroom or so forth, but that's bed rest. It's a huge market. That's health and wellness story. It's an overcoming story. Find your niche in them. Here's the quote: you've got to niche to get rich. If you ain't niching, you ain't making money. Know your niche. Niche to get rich. That's a Melinda Emerson. You've got to niche to get rich. So you've got to find out what works. Once you find that story, feed it, feed it, feed it to people. From me being on Fox, I got to deal with Kmart. Feed it, feed it, feed it. Be ready. So when they check out my stuff, they know I own this stuff. You got to feed this stuff. Animoto.com, a great tool for you to use to do quick videos about your business. It's free. Animoto, ANIMOTO.com.
Oh wait, A-N-I.
MOTO.com. There's also pitchengine.com. I love Pitch Engine because you're able to put your press release up. It's free. What's great about it, you can put your YouTube video on it, you can put photos on it, so it basically becomes an interactive press piece for you. And that's how I use it for what I do now. Pitch Engine, PR Log is free. These are outlets out there for you to use. Once you get them, you follow the template, you send it out to everyone. Once a week you should be doing an e-blast. Not about your clients. You can mention them, but what about you? What are you doing? What are you promoting? What are you in partnership with? See, the reason why these Mariah Carey and all these people, Jay-Z, are successful, I'm not saying they're not talented, it's multiple impressions. You see something over and over and over and over, you read, you hear it, you see it, people talk about it, you start believing it is the truth.
Yeah.
That has to be your business. People have to hear it. So when you introduce yourself, have your elevator pitch ready. Forget about, you know, this is what I do. What it is that where you want to go next. Ask those questions in your plan. Networking. Networking, networking, networking.